Welcome to the unboxing of the Eryone Thinker SE. So let's see what's inside. I just picked this up from the porch. It came from Amazon. Let's see. So I did get this printer on sale, but I did spend 100% of my own money on it. So it was on sale for about 20% off, so I figured it would be worth taking a look at. Alright, so it is a very big printer. It's got a 300mm square print bed with a vertical volume of 400mm. So we've got packing list, user manual, and a quick start guide. They do say that this can be assembled in about 15 minutes, so we'll see how accurate that is. That is a big print bed, that's for sure. So inside, let's see, we've got this little baggie attached. This has a little bit of PTFE tubing. I think this is the PTFE tubing that ends up on the outside of the extruder to help guide the filament in. Let's see, make sure I don't break anything trying to get this out. Alright, so it looks like this whole assembly here is going to come out as a single piece. I'll set this over to the side. And then we have, see, this looks like it might be the tool. Yeah, this is kind of like a tool kit. It's got some tubing and some timing belt stuff. It's got a control knob, micro SD card reader, and micro USB cable in it. It's got a tool kit as labeled. It's got a little set of clippers. It's got some screwdrivers, Allen keys, and a wrench. So a lot of stuff in here. It's got some install screw. It's got a tool to remove stuff off the print bed, I assume. Yeah, that doesn't, it's not super sharp, so I don't know how that'll work. And then we've got some metal bracket kits. That's good. I read somewhere that these might be acrylic, so I'm happy to see that these are metal. And I don't know if you can see this or not. This is the bracket kit for the left side with the Z stop. Let's see, and then we have our metal filament holder. So let's see. Next piece that we have, take out some more foam. Oh, this is the big part here. Here we have the base. Get some of the foam out of the way. Oh, we got a hot end attached to the base. I'm going to set this over behind me until I get this box out of the way. Alright, and we have about 10 meters of starter filament, power cable, and a power supply. So let me move this box. I'm pretty sure this is all that's left, and it's just foam left in the box. Alrighty, so we have the build plate, and I believe the controller, yeah, the controller and the display board are both inside the body here. So I will go ahead, get this assembled, and then I'll be right back to show you the prints. Okay, so we have it assembled. Didn't take too long. So now we're going to do a test print. So there are 3 G-code files on there, G-code 1, G-code 2, and G-code 3. So I guess we'll go with G-code 1. I have no idea what it's about to print. Another thing to note, all of the guides, quick start guide, the user manual, and the troubleshooting guide are also available digitally on the SD card, so it's really good to see all those included. And then we also noticed that when I was assembling this, there was a little bit of black filament actually in the nozzle, so I assume, I don't know, you probably can't see that, but this is a little stack of black filament that came out when we primed the nozzle with the white. So I assume that they test their printers before they actually ship them out, and if that's the case, that's a really good sign. So we will be back after I print G-code 1. Alright, so first couple of prints are done. Using the included filament, we printed, I'll set it right up there. We've got a G-code 1, actually turned out to be a 30mm XYZ test cube. G-code number 2, I believe it was, maybe it was 3, turned out to be the little 3D benchy. Oh, that looks like it's going to rock right off the bed. So the benchy actually came out, looks really good. I'll probably show some close-up pictures of it right here. There is a little bit of stringing in the back window of the Benchy and between the bow and the front window, just a little bit. But overall, the bridging looks really good. I don't see any under extrusion anywhere. Everything looks pretty good. I wasn't quite on the leveling, and the bottom's not super legible, but that was definitely user error, not any fault of the printer. So one good thing to note, the printer does connect up to the Raspberry Pi for use in an Octoprint or OctoPi configuration, which we use with all of our printers here. It worked flawlessly. Plug it right in, and it just connected right up. Baud rate, I think, was 250,000. So there were a couple of things to note as far as difficulties when it came to assembling the printer. This clamp system for the Bowden drive, it was a little bit confusing to figure out exactly how that went together. I ended up having to loosen the screw that holds the spring on, and then I had to pivot one arm up as I swung it around and put it back down. Ended up getting it together just fine. It just could have been a little bit clearer in the instructions. One thing I did like to see in the quick start guide, it does specifically talk about printer bed leveling. That wasn't something I was expecting to see, and that was definitely a welcome addition. These glass build plates, this filament sticks to it like glue. There's no glue or anything on this. It is tempered glass with some sort of texture on top of it, and it sticks incredibly well. I'm super impressed with how well it sticks. And the only other thing I would say, my unit, the control box is mounted over here. The power supply plugs into it, the USB cable and the SD card plug into it. It is mounted by just 2 single screws on the side of this railing here, and then the box itself goes until about this point with no other support. So if there was another support even connected up to this railing on the underside, that would probably add a lot to the stability of it. If you feel this down here, it does bounce around, so that's not necessarily secure down there, so you don't want to really spend a lot of time plugging and unplugging stuff from there. Other than that, we had to tension up the Y belt a little bit. If there had been a screw tensioner included, that would have been great, but it wasn't too bad. You just kind of loosen a couple of the screws, you pull on it, and you tighten them back up. It really wasn't too terribly bad. The test cube also printed super well. This is just the included G-code, so I'm not exactly sure what settings they were using, but it all looks really good. Overall, I'm extremely happy with it. For the price, I don't know what else I could possibly ask for. It would be nice to include auto bed leveling, but that's going to drive the price up. And it does come with a little mainboard or daughter board chip to plug bed leveling right into it, so that's going to be a super easy addition if I decide to do that in the future. Overall, I really like the big thumb wheels on the bottom to level the bed. Really like the glass build plate. Another thing, there are these small black clips that are included. Let's see, I'll show a close-up of one right here. These small black clips that are included, there's not any mention of what they are in the manual. I can only assume because they fit perfectly that they are to hold the glass build plate on. One other thing to note that was not super clear in the description, the limit switch that connects up over here, there's actually a slot through the middle of this piece of the gantry assembly that I believe is where that cable is supposed to route through. Again, it wasn't super clear, so that was the best guess that we had. It does look like that is where it's supposed to go because that kind of keeps it out of the way of everything. Overall, as of right now, there is absolutely no reason I would not recommend this printer. It was up and running within probably 15 minutes of literally, it showed up to the house, I got the camera set up, I got the table cleared off, I assembled it. Probably 30 minutes from the time it was dropped off at my door by Amazon, it was already starting to try to print something. We actually didn't even have, the very first print we printed on it was this cube. All we did was level the bed, and it printed right away. It was really beautiful. I have 2 other printers, and this Benchy is easily as good as either one of those, despite the fact that I've spent hours tuning those printers. This Benchy is easily as good as those right out of the box. So Eryone is doing some great work. This is a great printer, and I highly, highly recommend it. I may upgrade to bed leveling in the future, but these thumb wheels really do make it pretty easy to level the bed. So thank you very much.